Either.
Get ready for stuff.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yes, happy Father's Day. For anybody who
Everyone
celebrates
who's a
Father's Day.
father.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people
And
and
who's
mothers.
celebrating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day, Tony.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Kathy Bananas.
Thank you.
All
A
right.
little late.
Yes.
It's raining outside.
I was out adventure biking with my adventure bike.
And then it stormed.
Yes, part of the adventure.
That's why we're inside.
Yes.
Yeah, we're late. You thought you were late, and here it's Tony that's late. Yeah. Yeah.
We're all a
definitely
little late.
So, what's new, Tony?
Being on punctuality is for the white man, and I am not going to deal with that stuff. I'm playing the slightly off white privilege card.
Oh my goodness. Dicky Farley says hi. Frank
So-
Emmer says hey guys. Star 7787 says hello Tony and Kathy.
Greetings.
Says happy Father's Day.
Yes, happy Father's Day to you all.
So what's going on?
Nothing.
being
Why are
late.
we even doing this? I have nothing to talk about.
What do you mean?
Really, my head is just a total blank.
What do you mean?
Well, I was out adventure biking, so like
Alright, in the rain?
I just missed the rain.
Oh, you missed it.
I was hoping I would get the lightning and
It
the
was a
thunder.
storm, yeah.
Yeah, because I was actually
Still a
wearing
storm.
a helmet with a visor for a change, which is like,
I think
come on, bring it.
everybody can see the rain behind you out the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the dogs are quiet. They're in rainy day mammal mode.
Well, I gave them bones.
Of course, as soon as it stops raining, they're gonna go berserk because they always do.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's going on out there in the world?
Everybody's saying happy Father's Day.
Thank you all.
Furry S, Mexican Spec says rain is good, it cleanses everything.
Yes,
Or makes it dirty.
that's
You
very
just wash the
philosophical.
car.
Very philosophical. Rain eventually makes its way into my coffee cup.
Yeah?
Yes.
You think so?
Well,
I
at some
don't know.
point, whatever the liquid that's in there, at some point rained
Okay.
and was gathered in whatever device and then
Uh-huh.
converted by the magic of Kathy Bananas into a cup of coffee.
What's up, Zero?
Zero, what's happening, brother?
Charles Allen says, what bike did you ride?
I've been riding the Buell. It's like, a really crazy contrast because yesterday, I think it was the day before, I don't even remember. It's all one day now. Everything's one day. And I spent like a couple of hours on the Buell, then I parked it and I got on one of my Sporties, and it was like, oh my God, I'm riding this tiny little bike. But honestly, I prefer the Sportster. Like now having ridden both of them back to back,
Yeah.
like spend a couple of hours on each,
Uh-huh.
same day back to back. I much prefer the Sportster.
Really?
Yeah, but
Why?
the Sportster is not a good traveling bike.
Well,
Which
Yeah.
okay, so you have to have a bike for its purpose, and the purpose of the Buell is that it's a touring, adventure bike. It's like an 80-20, 80 road, 20% off. That's what it's designed for. But if you're just scooting around town and stuff like that, traffic, 40, 50 mile an hour roads, this Sporty is like much more comfortable and happy.
that's good.
Yes.
I'm glad you're happy with it.
I love it. Like it fits a whole.
Ari's here.
Ari, oh my God! I figured he had gone off and he was
He
like,
says,
maybe.
I'm over here swapping plugs on the 350. I've been getting some smoke wet fouling.
I thought maybe he went off to moderate at like Nick's garage or some shit like that.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
thinks so. Maybe he did. I caught you looking at motorcycles yesterday or the day
When?
before? Yesterday.
I did not.
Yeah, you had the motorcycle page open on my Facebook.
I was just looking at the silly things
And
that are
I
on there.
said, no, you're not.
No. No, I really. I'm four.
Yeah, no,
Four.
no, I'm
Four.
just looking.
No, I know. Well, okay, so I got some friends up the street over here that young guys, very young guys, and they teenagers, and they all ride Sportsters, and I've been watching them since they were like born. Okay, so these kids were out there when they were like the kid Caden especially, He was out there when he was like 3 years old on a little bicycle, jumping over small stuff. Like I said, they live right on my corner, well, a couple of blocks down.
Yeah.
And so every day, because he was always in my path, right? Every day I'd see this kid when he was like 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15, riding all over the lawn and over the neighbors' lawns and stuff like that on all these different devices.
Fubar is here. He sent a link for our merch.
Well, thank you,
Hello,
Fubar.
Fubar.
Boy, I'm getting so. So at any rate,
Yeah, you're off topic.
I'm off topic, but I'm talking about this kid, right? And his friends and his family, all really, really great people. So they stunt ride. He's a professional stunt rider now. Kid's 18 years old, and they stunt ride Harley Davidsons. They have Sportsters, and really cool stuff. So at any rate, we were talking the other day about maybe picking up some bikes to flip, because they're looking at.
Oh, you're a flipper now.
I'm flipping. Okay, we're going to talk about that.
All right, so somebody at Joe K just asked Tony, what's your plan when the Duster sells?
Yes. Okay, so we were just going to talk about that.
Okay.
So I listed the Duster. I have no plan. It's just I just want to get rid of stuff, right?
You're a little overwhelmed.
I'm a lot overwhelmed.
We
I'm
have
a lot overwhelmed.
A lot of things, and it's two of us to take care of it.
So I listed the Duster.
Wait, you have a super chat. Can you talk about that first?
Yes, let's do
All
that.
right, Corey Melvin sent you a super chat.
Thank you, Corey.
He says, I have a 68 442 455 Holly.
Is it a Hirschholz? Or did you drop a 455 minute?
Holly VS now Holly versus now street driven. Want instant power. Would I be happier with an MS? Swap for what?
An MS?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
You don't know.
You're bleeding.
I see
Why
that.
are you bleeding?
I have no idea.
There's blood gushing out of
I scratched
Kathy
it by
Banana's leg.
I scratched it by you. So you don't have to tell everybody.
I was shocked by the volume of blood that was coming out of
I'm
your...
a bleeder. Answer his question.
I can't because I don't understand his question.
Alright.
Read it to me one more time.
Holly Holly VS or versus? Holly VS now? Street driven.
Oh, okay.
Want
All right,
instant
but
power.
cover.
Would I be happier with a MS? Swap it for what? Swap for
I know
what?
something about the VS carburetor, but
Sorry, I read that wrong.
yeah. Please rephrase. Wait, where are you going? You're putting a tourniquet on. She's putting a tourniquet on her leg.
No, I'm not.
Please rephrase that question because I'm not.
Okay, we'll get back to your question.
Yeah, she'll watch for you.
If I miss him, guys, please tell me where it was.
Yeah.
Okay, Corey Melvin. Let me
Yes.
remember that name.
Corey. Yes,
Corey.
Corey.
All right.
So we were talking about the Duster. No, I have absolutely no plans. I'm not replacing anything. Kathy's been going through a purge, just getting rid of stuff in the house. I've been going through a purge really for the last year, just getting rid of stuff. And because I want to simplify, it's time to lighten the load. You get to a certain age, you know what I mean? You know, you're young, like Jamie, let's just say, keep accumulating, pile that
He's
stuff
here.
high. Oh my God!
He says that Corey means a double pumper. I'd stick with the vacuum secondary for the street.
Okay.
Hello,
Well,
Jamie. I saw your coffee cup
gee,
in
that
the
was great.
video.
That was great.
Thank you.
Jamie has been dropping some epic videos based on the road trip. So you guys, Dead Dodge Garage, after you're done with all of this, and his live, because his live overlaps
All right,
ours.
Corey Melvin says dropped to 455 in TH 400.
Turbo Hydro 400, okay.
Okay, I'm still looking. See if
All right.
there's any new ones.
All right, so he was talking about vacuum secondary versus mechanical secondary, and I'm so sorry. It's not that you didn't make it clear, but it just didn't register in my head.
He
I'm
says,
sorry.
not happy with my vacuum secondary carburetor entirely in the 1968 442 with the 455 engine. Thanks, Tony.
Okay. Have you played with the secondary springs? So rather before you just can the carburetor and say no, I'm going to go with a mechanical secondary carburetor. Try tuning with springs. You can get the Holly spring kit, right? It's like $17 or $18, and it's going to come with an assortment of vacuum secondary springs. Play around with that before you give up on the carburetor. You can get them to go right to the edge of bog with that, you know, with the spring kit. I would do that before I can then went to a mechanical secondary carburetor. Mostly because you have an automatic. Stick cars, I always recommend going with a mechanical secondary. But for an automatic, you can usually tune the secondary diaphragm, the secondary opening rate, to stay happy with it. I hope that answers your question. What were we talking about?
Jamie says, ha ha ha, I thought that was awesome personally when he seen Dun and Friends. Coffee cup and Winnie in his video. It's funny.
So, yeah, Jamie's been dropping some epic road
good
trip
videos.
stuff videos. So like I said, if his live overlaps hours. We start at 7 o'clock usually. We start late tonight, and he starts at 8 o'clock Central Time, and kind of overlaps. So, but yeah, definitely check out his videos. They were great. They were great.
Alright, so you were talking about the Duster.
I listed the Duster because
It's on eBay.
Yeah, you know why? You know, honestly. So okay, you know what the breaking point was? This is stupid. This is stupid.
What was the breaking point?
Okay. I looked at the car, right? I'm assessing. I'm saying, all right. I gotta fix the windshield, right? Because the windshield is good, but it leaks, right? I gotta patch the floors, right? It started with a hole about this big. Now the hole's about that big because it's been leaking for the last 4 years. It was the gauge cluster.
What was
The bezel.
Oh, the bezel that you had
The
to
bezel.
change?
Just the fact that I would have to go
But we
out and
have that,
find a
don't we?
bezel. No, I know. Sold them all.
In the attic?
Nope.
No, bull. We have one in the
I
attic.
don't have any. No, I do not have any of those bezels.
I bet you we do.
This
We
is
had
stu-
a multitude of Duster bezels.
They're gone.
They're
They're gone. We sold all of that stuff.
Stray Bullet says the Duster exclamation point
Yes.
question marks. Yes, it's on eBay right now.
And even when
There's like 2 days left.
somebody spray painted it black, okay, which I can't fathom that, right? But somebody painted it black, and it's got a couple of chips in it. I was like, okay, I gotta get a bezel for this thing. And they're cheap, you get them cheap. You get them for like $80, $100. You get a really primo one. But I was just like, no, I just don't want to be bothered. That's it.
That's what it was. You just didn't want to change the
That was the straw that broke it's always the straw that breaks the camel's back. So when I'm looking around and saying, okay, this thing needs to be washed. That thing I gotta do this to. That one I gotta do
Everything
this
needs to
to.
be washed. Everything is.
I know. And then you just see something and it's like, okay, this got under my skin. So the reason I'm even bringing this up is because it's on eBay, and I'm not telling you it's on eBay so you go over there and bid on it or anything like that. But I feel that I represented the car correctly. Like, so in other words, I'm gonna read you the ad. Okay, I'm gonna read you the ad.
I'll turn this so you can see it.
Yes. So.
It's Jamie's video.
Here's
We're
Jamie's
watching
video.
you.
Okay,
Alright.
active listing. How do I get to the listing?
There's another tab open.
There's
The
no
other
tab open?
eBay tab.
There it is.
This one.
Okay, so Kathy took all of the pictures of the car.
I cleaned the car.
She gave it a bath, all right. But she took honest pictures of it. It's like here's a picture of the roof, and you can see the paint is peeling in the rain gutter. The car's got incredible quarters and stuff like that. It's got incredible bumpers. Everything's under the hood is just an intact slant 6, right? Okay, and then she took some interior shots. Okay, so there's a trunk, and you see there's a lot of surface rust in the trunk, but that's okay. And we talked about that. So she shows the interior, she shows the floor, the hole in the floor. You can clearly see that the door, nothing's doctored. So in other words, like we ran this thing exactly as it is. We didn't try to hide anything.
I wiped it down.
Yeah, she just wiped some of the
Wiped it
filth off of it. Okay, there's another hole, right? Hole floor. There's a dashboard. You can see the.
Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, like these pictures hide absolutely
I know, I
nothing.
tried to enhance things that were bad.
Right. So here's a picture. You can see the door panel is warped and
Yeah.
cracked over there. You can see the upper is cracked.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, like we listed this thing and showed all of its obvious,
The headliner.
obvious defects. Here's the other one. You can see that the upper is cracked here and the door panel's ripped
The
there.
back is nice. The back door panel's nice.
Yeah.
Those are clean.
Okay. So you get the general idea. Shots under the hood. You see there's no rust down there. All right. So here's how I describe it.
Thank you, Zero. He's
So
axing.
what happened?
He's axing somebody.
Oh, thank you, Zero. So here's a description, and I feel that this is an equitable thing. And I'm going to talk about the money too in a second, right? Okay. The Good. Originally a California desert car, this Duster has perfect frame rails, crossmember, quarters, and drop-offs. Body is exceptionally straight, and some details like the original bumpers are in amazing condition. Has the 225 slant 6, manual steering, manual brakes, and a floor-mounted A230 3-speed transmission. Car ran very well and was driven regularly before being parked in its current location approximately 4 years ago. It's the perfect starting point for a fun cruiser, full restoration, or even daily driver. Few of these cars have remained as original as this one has. That's the good.
Yeah,
okay?
that's fair.
The bad. The windshield leaks, and because this is a rubber floor mat car, the driver's side front floor pan and passenger side rear floor pan need to be replaced. There may be more floor pan damage that is not obvious with the interior in place, but it appears to be the extent of it. So I don't want anybody to just look at the pictures and say, oh, that's all there is. No, there's a possibility that there's more, but I'm not going to pull the interior out to find out. The trunk floor spare tire well has a good bit of flaky surface rust, but appears to be savable. So I'm not saying it's, oh, this is great, or, it's like,
There's no
think
holes
you
in
can
it.
save it.
Yeah.
Somebody along the line spray painted the gauge cluster bezel black, because that was the thing that got me, all right?
They probably don't care about that. That's
They
the
probably
least
don't,
thing
but
that they care about.
you don't understand, it drove me absolutely insane, right? The gauge cluster black, and it does have a chip or two missing. It needs a headliner. Door panels and other interior bits are rough, but usable. More detailed photos are available on request. And then in all caps, we welcome and encourage a third-party inspection of this car before bidding ends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, you're going to look at this car. All right, if you're serious about buying this
Send a
car,
message.
yeah, you should send somebody.
Come look at it.
Because not only am I protecting them, but I'm protecting myself too.
Right.
Because then you've got that buyer that says, you didn't tell me it had a gizmo and a whatchamacallit, right? You thief, right? No, look, I told you right in the ad.
Right.
Send somebody else to inspect this thing, okay?
Uh-huh.
So I feel in my mind that was an equitable
Down
way,
there?
an equitable and honest way to list this car.
I think so.
Now, I personally think the car is worth, I mean, honestly, right, because you can't find them like this. I think the car's worth between $8,000 and $10,000. But I'm going to let the market dictate that. So we started the bidding at $2,000. Minimum $2,000. If you sold the bumpers, the grills, just the stuff that you can see,
Yeah.
you get your $2,000 back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I started the bid at. Is that what is it now? What is it now? Anybody can go see this. Okay, right now it's at $5,100.
Chris Mess will give you $3.50 for it. Yeah, Chris. Okay.
So it's at $5,100. The market is gonna dictate where it goes.
Yeah, what is it at?
5,100.
Oh, it must have
It's
just
got
got a
it's
bid.
got 15 bids.
Yeah, it just got another bid.
Yeah.
It was at 45. UTG member discount.
Old Nation 442.
Okay,
He likes it.
he likes it.
So, but anyway, I only bring this up because I'm constantly doing these videos on people getting robbed and ripped off and
I think it was nice, it was good that you put the reserve so low that in case nobody bid on it, somebody could have gotten a deal.
I set the reserve at $3,500.
Yeah.
Okay. which in my mind is like literally, it's giving the car away. It's free.
Right.
But the way I feel about it is, again, see, the market. Let the market dictate.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody's going to get that car for $3,500,
Well,
yeah.
they're not now.
Well, obviously.
Obviously not.
But you know, it's like more power to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? More power to you.
Right.
So all I'm saying, the only reason I bring this up is because we do so many freaking videos about people getting robbed and the business and how scummy this whole thing is. I wanted to show you guys what I feel is a good example of an equitable and honest listing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good listing. I agree.
You know,
If I saw something on it that I didn't like, I would say.
yeah, I put my money where
I
my
just
mouth
really
is.
I put pictures up there that nobody would ever put. That headliner, like I tried to get the best angle to see how like crumbly it was.
Yeah.
And how much it was falling apart and how stained it was from the water.
Yeah, because I don't want to rob anybody.
Right, yeah.
You know, I don't want to misrepresent it.
Yeah, so when they pick it up, they'll know what they're getting. They'll be
Right.
like, oh, that's not as bad as it looks in the photos.
Right.
The seat covers are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in good shape.
And then, like, regardless, if it goes for, let's say it goes for $3 million, okay? And somebody picks up the car, they get the car, and they're like, this isn't worth $3 million. I can say, well, the reserve was $3,500. You could have had it for $3,500 if nobody else bid on it, but you know, you sent it. So, like I said, I'm not trying. Oh, I'm an angel or anything like that.
Let's just start right now. Mexican Spec wants to know.
In fact, I started it. When did I start? I started and drove it.
When you moved the.
When I moved to Belvedere, so
Belvedere.
back in November.
No, you moved to Belvedere in November.
November or
Was that
December. I
What
think
is-
I think I moved in November.
Yeah,
Whatever it
maybe.
was. I started it. We put a battery in it. I threw a couple of gallons of gas in it. I started it. I drove it. And I didn't mention that. I didn't say anywhere. I said it
Yeah, but you
ran.
don't even say that it runs.
Right. It ran and drove
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago. It's been sitting for 4 years. So buy this thing accordingly.
Right.
But I did start it, run it, and drive it. I put probably like 5 miles on it.
So it doesn't start today, Mexican Spec says?
If I threw a battery in it,
Yeah, it would start.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
We just didn't say that it did.
I'm not gonna misrepresent it as a running, driving car. I'm saying that it ran and drove 4 years ago when it was parked.
Mm-hmm.
Right now,
I mean, it probably needs to be gone through because it's been sitting.
but it started and ran perfectly.
Yeah.
And also no place in that video that I mention. Oh, it's a YouTube car.
What
you know.
video? Oh, you mean
Oh,
the
yeah,
ad?
the
Yeah,
ad,
it's
yeah.
not an ad. Strut up your dusters, yeah. Random parts, right?
Right. I'm not gonna sell it as
That's
here.
fair.
Get in it and just drive it anywhere because I don't know.
Right,
Your solar might be
yeah.
leaking or who the hell knows? I
Right.
don't know it. I don't care.
Right.
That's the important part.
Mhm.
So that's why I didn't list it as just drive it anywhere. No,
Yeah.
it ran. Honestly, it ran when we parked it, and now it's on you.
When you drove it, it did drive really nice though.
Oh, it drives like a brand
Yeah,
new car.
it's like a new car because I guess the lady that owned it, she didn't. I
Well,
don't know.
Well, it came from the California
Yeah,
desert,
like it's really tight. Like it.
so it never saw a pothole
Yeah.
a day in its life. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
tight. It's like, and that was why I wanted to keep it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not crazy. First off, I mean, I'm so about dusters.
That's all I am.
I'm so
It's
about
nice that
dusters.
it's a stick car.
Yeah, I'm definitely so about 73, 74s, right? I like the 70 through 72s, but I wanted to keep that car because when I drove it, the first time I drove it, I was absolutely blown away by how tight it was.
Yeah.
It-
Because it was the lady's son or something that sold it, right?
yeah,
nephew
he
or
bought it from his aunt,
His
grandmother,
aunt? Yeah.
whoever,
She was
right?
the original owner.
And he drove it from California to Tennessee
Right.
and then parked it.
Right.
And then he wanted to get rid of it because it was just deteriorating in his driveway. So
Yeah.
I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
We drove it around in primer for, I don't know,
Little while.
a little while,
Yeah.
right? Then I painted it.
Mm-hmm.
Drove it for a couple of weeks after I painted it.
Parked it.
Parked it.
That was it.
That's it.
Done. I'm just gonna stick this back here.
But like I said, I'm only showing you this because In my opinion, that's what a fair and equitable, listing looks like. And B, I actually do put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah. Show all the ugly.
Yeah.
You parked? You parked? Yeah, you parked the car.
It's been sitting in the backyard for 4 years.
Mm-hmm. So what are you gonna put there in this place?
I just want to leave the backyard open.
You wanna leave it open?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna put a pool there then.
On the concrete?
Sure, why not? I don't know, something for the dogs. You gonna leave it open?
Yeah, I don't.
You're not gonna put the car back there?
No.
No? Really?
I mean, if we have to.
No, you don't have to.
I don't have to right now, but I don't want to put anything permanent there because if we do need space for whatever reason, we have it. But
Right.
I want to just keep that optional space.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I reached a point in my life where space is more important than cars.
That's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. It's backwards. It's absolutely backwards.
It's backwards.
Yeah,
More
I used to.
space for Wayne to run.
I used to
Shut
go
out
to-
of the room, Joe K.
Yeah, please. I doubled the size of the backyard for her.
So, are you gonna miss the duster when it goes?
No.
You're not gonna miss
No. I'm not gonna miss it. I haven't missed any of the other stuff I've gotten rid of.
No. That's true. Like you don't miss the GT, right?
No, and I love that car.
Yeah, I know you used to drive that all the time.
I loved that car, but I don't miss it. And
Yeah.
I think that's just the fact that you get to a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a certain age and a certain position in life where it's just like,
Yeah, but when we were young, we got rid of cars like, poof, get rid of it. Like we didn't really get attached to them the way.
well, a lot of cars, but cars that I did get attached to, I tried to hold on to. But at any rate,
It's a good car. I'm sure it's gonna go to a good home.
I hope it does.
I hope it doesn't go to one of those flippers. Or it's just gonna end up on a lot.
Yeah. Maple motor.
Don't say that. Bill McKiskey says, is that a feather duster package or am I misremembering?
No, it's just a regular. It's just a regular slant 6 3-speed.
Mm-hmm. He rolls his own cigarettes, yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes, he does.
Like a boss.
Does the horn work?
I have no
Did
idea.
you check the horn, Tony?
I have no idea.
Tony, will it chirp second gear? KJ Kylie.
Could it trip second?
I don't know.
I guess
I don't think I really drove that
I
car.
guess if you power shifted it,
Yeah?
it's got one of them like really like weak light slant 6 clutches in it. So it would probably flare before it would chirp. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Nemo Dama Pinfish. Okay, I don't know what your name says. First thing I had somebody say to me today was that I needed to change my points to Petronics. No.
Oh, jeez. Tomorrow I'm doing a whole video on street ignition systems. We're going to talk about all the different types, what you need, what you don't need, the pros and the cons of all of these other. So that's tomorrow. I'm actually compiling that while I was out adventure biking on my Buell.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about, was
You can have a
compiling all of the stuff that I need to put in this video tomorrow. Of course, I'll forget all of it when I go to shoot the video,
Of course.
but that's okay.
Ari says, man, it's great to catch a live stream. He says, missed you guys. Yeah, you haven't been here in a while.
Dude, I got the warm fuzzies because you're here. It's awesome. You and Zero and Fubar and Mexican Spec, you guys all together on the same. I thought I got the warm fuzzies.
Uh-huh.
It's a Father's Day miracle.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Let's see. Morgo says, hey Tony, in your opinion, what's a better cruiser motor for a C body, a 383 or a 360?
Flip a coin, man. Flip a coin. Either or. So if it's a quiet cruiser, I would prefer the big block because they have a certain sound. Okay, And it's hard to explain this. You never, okay, if you're talking about a car, just running it dead quiet to a dead stock exhaust system. The big block has a different sound. The engine running sounds more solid than a small block. And that's probably because of the extended skirt, the deep skirts on the block. But I flip a coin. They're both great engines for a cruising highway car.
What?
And I learned a lot from our brief encounter at Power Tour.
What did you learn? Somebody asked if there was any other footage than what we took, and there's not.
No.
Except the guy that came to help us when we were stuck. Somebody did come to help us.
Yes.
I
gave him a shout out
Roadrunner.
on the I gave him a shout out on the Wednesday Night Live that we did.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we didn't go there to shoot video. Did we even have a camera?
We took the GoPro just in case.
Just in case, yeah. But
We
we
had
didn't.
like half a battery.
Yeah.
when I put it on.
Yeah, we didn't go there to shoot video. We just
No.
went there to be with, you know.
We ate lunch with people.
Yeah.
We sat down at the picnic table and had lunch with people.
Yeah. You know, if you're watching this, anybody who did, you know, that we met there,
Yeah.
it was great meeting you guys.
Yeah.
You were all really freaking awesome.
Very nice. Nice people.
Some guy offered to buy us lunch. Which
Yeah,
was
some kind
no.
of. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, did you tell them how much our lunch
Yeah,
was?
I told him I went two hamburgers,
I was so upset.
with like 4 French fries, it's $62.
And that poor guy behind us was like, "Oh, take care of your lunch." I was like, "Oh my gosh, no."
When Jamie was here, I took him out. We stopped at some restaurant in Nashville real
Yeah.
quick. I was okay. Well, this looks pretty casual. Like, you know, we could dive in here.
Mm-hmm.
We got what amounted to 2 chicken cutlets. It was $109.
I bet.
And then we go to Power Tour. We get 2 hamburgers, and it's $62.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
So, it's freaking insane. It was insane. But I'm
Thank
really.
you for offering to buy us lunch.
Yes.
We appreciate that. Very
But I am really glad that they went.
Yeah, Power Tour pricing. Yeah, gouging. Power Tour gouging.
I couldn't even
Affordable
I
pricing.
couldn't even get mad. It was just so ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, like honestly, if
$21 for a cheeseburger.
so if they handed me 2 hamburgers and little things of fries, right, and they were like, "That's $25," I would have been like, "What? Are you out of your freaking mind? $25 for these 2 hamburgers?" But it was $60,
$62.
which means it was so over the top.
And I only got 1 drink.
I could only
You didn't
laugh
get
at
a
it.
drink. I tried to share with you.
I could only laugh at it. So at any rate,
Power
what's going
Tour.
on?
You're talking about
Power Tour. We're talking about Power Tour. Yeah. So I'm glad that I went because I live in self-imposed exile. Okay, literally, I don't go anywhere. I don't talk to anybody. I don't socialize, which is backwards because I'm really a very, very social person.
Dog events.
I go to dog events. Yes, I socialize at dog events because nobody knows who I am, and it's like, yes, you know, let's just be regular people and just not do any of this shit, right? It was like yesterday. I went to the Redneck Rumble, and
I didn't go with you.
I know why. I only went real quick.
Yeah, it's fine.
I just wanted to skirt through it, and my friend Erie Eric was there with Ian. He works with Ian Russell, and so Ian was there signing autographs. He was like a popular guy. He had a line that was just, out the door, backwards, and just
Sure.
everywhere. So God bless him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, at any rate, so it was like Eric was like, "Well, come on, sit with the gang," and I'm like, "No, wait, no." He's like, "Membership has its privileges." I said, "No."
Did you meet Ian or not?
No,
No, you didn't meet him.
he was too busy. I'm not going to interrupt him and say, "Hey,
I didn't know if
Ian,
you met him or
look,
not.
I'm a hotshot YouTuber. How you doing, right?"
I didn't know if you met him.
No, I didn't know. He was too busy. I wasn't
Yeah.
going to interrupt him. So What was I even going with this?
You talking about again? You went off the rails.
Yeah, because
You're talking about what you learned from the power tour.
Power tour, yes. So like I said, I live in self-imposed exile, and I really don't get out anywhere. I don't go anywhere, and going to power tour, and seeing what the viewers are actually driving, and where their interests are, okay, was really important to me.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was interesting. There were between 6,000 and 7,000 cars there, and it was just hard to explain. But I was seeing a common theme, a common head that or attitude, or hard to explain exactly what it is. Like it's an intangible, but I had to go there and actually be immersed in it to absorb that intangible, and I think it'll help me make better content, more suitable content,
right,
for the majority of people and the majority of ways they use. Because honestly, right? So there was 7,000 people there. If there's probably 10 people who wanted to be there for every one that was, so that's like 70,000 people who wished they were there. And honestly, they could care less on the difference between slicks and drag radials. They could care less about proper pinion snub replacement for a 4-speed. They don't care about stuff like that.
right.
They care about their classic or their vintage or their low dollar hot rod, and just how to get the driver and how to get the most bang for the buck. So it was good because it helped ground me a little bit better, I think.
I think so.
So
Like it was very different than the Good Guys event that we went to. The head was different than the Good Guys event in Nashville that we went to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was.
But you know that when we went to Good Guys, we really didn't fit in there.
No.
You know, there wasn't really anything for us, or.
Right.
I mean, there's cool stuff there, but it was just a different genre.
Yeah. So one of the things I saw yesterday at the Redneck Rumble, which, and the guy Tommy that puts on the show, Both Barrels Productions, I think it's called, he does such a good job. I'll tell you, he really does a nice job organizing these events. They all run very smoothly. The whole, the atmosphere is really, really good. The energy is really, really good. If you ever, Both Barrels Production, if you're ever in the general area and you have a chance to drop in on one of his events, do it. Even if you're not really into it. Like I'm not into I'm not a redneck, and I don't really dig rat rods or anything like that. But it's a great event with great energy, and everybody was having fun, and definitely go. So so one of the things that I was very impressed with, okay, that I thought was really neat, is that they have this thing called the Knot Rod Challenge. Okay, now I don't know the exact specifics, right? Because there's a whole list of rules to this thing, right? It's the Knot Rod Challenge, and it can't be a V8, and it has to be a maximum of $5,000 investment. Now, how they police that, I don't know, but like I said, it has anything but a V8, maximum $5,000, and there were other rules. I don't know what they were, but I did look over a couple of the cars, and one of them really caught my attention. I thought was just the coolest little thing. It was a roadster. It was like a T-bucket type of roadster, but you could see it was all hand formed, right? Like just somebody hammered this thing out in their backyard, right? And it was powered by an 1100 a Honda Shadow motor, or an 1100 Honda Shadow motor with a shaft drive, and it was cool. It was just so basic. It was just so backyard, and you could look at this thing and say, man, that's clean. It's cool looking, and you know that it's going to be a blast to just scoot around town with it. It was like perfectly in the spirit of like fun hot rodding, you know. So I was really impressed by that, and it's not just limited to old, to street rod type of cars. There was a guy there that had like parked a couple of rows next to it. In that same challenge was, I'm going to say it was like a 69, maybe a 68, 69 Le Mans that was an old dirt track car, and it still had the dirt track, the dirt track roll cage in it and all this other shit, but he put plates in it, where you put lights in it, and an inline GM6, a late model GM6. What the hell are they called? The Vortec motor with a 5-speed transmission. It was like really low buck, really basic, but you could tell it's just fun. This is a fun car, right? And I think we really need to like start focusing more on just fun friggin' cars that can escape from the realities of the modern world. Really fun, low buck, low budget, simple machines.
Well, it wasn't low buck at the show, but remember that car that we didn't get to look at that they built the camper for to match?
That was
Remember
beautiful.
Yeah, that was really
That was
really
beautiful.
Nice. But
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of people did stuff like that.
Well, it's the range.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about the Power Tour, so it seems that you go to like a Good Guys event, and I'm not knocking Good Guys or anything like that, but it seems like an elitist sort of thing, right? It's like a
It's a
one-upmanship.
different group.
Who can have more billet?
Yeah.
It's like, who can have more
Yeah.
tribal chrome
Mhm.
trinkets, right? That sort of thing, okay? But at the Power Tour, there were some cars that were extremely well done. I mean, like really, like and Kathy's talking about. There was a matching car and camper. They were painted like as a beautiful, like
Set. Yeah, it was
yeah,
really
painted
nice.
as a set. And it's like, and you could enter this thing in any
I
show,
wanted to
and
stop
people would
look
be
at it, but
impressed.
we were busy.
Yeah, really, I did want to look at it. But parked next to that is just going to be like a rat Pontiac Sunfire. You know what I mean? And it's like, and everybody was just, it was just one nice thing. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I've ever actually been to a Power Tour event. We sent cars, but I've never been to one.
We've never been to one?
No,
You sure?
I don't remember ever
I
going
guess
to
we
one.
haven't. Yeah, that's the first time we've gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice.
No, it was very nice.
It was a nice mix of cars.
Hmm. We were supposed to go
The
to
people
Bowling
were
Green.
very nice. Huh?
We were supposed to go to Bowling Green, but we ended up, our dog sitter fell through and we just couldn't
Yeah.
spend the whole day out. So we ended up just going to the Nashville one.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's see. Talking to each other. First is late 60s. Oh, they're talking about mini skirts and girls. Okay, yeah. They're talking about girls. I don't know where that came from. Alright. Talking about they've been married, rockabilly girls. Alright, let's find something about a car. Joe K says, I was at a show today and saw a clean Cadillac Cimarron. It was my favorite car there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's the nice thing about like, so you're an old guy like me, right? And you think of something like a Cadillac Cimarron. Like back in the day, it was just a vile car. It was like, you know what I mean? It was like, what the hell is that? But now when you see one 45 years later, it's like, man, that's pretty cool.
What did we see there when I was like, oh, was it a Matador?
Yeah,
What was it? It was
It
a
was a
Matador.
Matador. yeah. These cars were weird. They
Weird.
were weird. Forgot how weird they were. Boy, that's weird.
Mhm.
That Monte SS was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
There was a
I
white,
was really
white
like-
86 Monte SS that was just like
Yeah.
primo. It was perfect. I forgot how beautiful those cars were.
They're really nice.
You know, people modify them, right? And whenever they modify them, they take away. You know, because I see them, they put different wheels on them, they
Right.
lower them, they do this, they do that, they put cowl hoods on them and shit like that. Anything you do to that last generation Monte SS, right, takes away from it. When you see those cars and they're exactly the way they were dropped off, you know, at the showroom, they're beautiful. Everything just works together. You know what I mean? Everything just works
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, that was hard for me to look at. I was like, oh, that's really nice. So I remember that interior.
Yeah.
All right, let's walk away.
That was
Let's
a
just
beautiful
walk
car.
away because we don't have them. Okay. So, let's see. Risa Gross says, hey boss, it's my birthday. Unfortunately, last of the 20s. Oh, you poor thing. Risa
Happy
Gross.
birthday.
Happy
Last of your
birthday.
20s. Yeah, my socks are older than you.
Keith Lewin says, talk about the Black Ghost, please.
Oh no, man! I did 2 whole videos
Yeah,
on
did
that.
2 videos on it.
I'm all talked out on the Black Ghost.
Yeah. It's nothing new has happened with it, right? It's just.
Yeah, somebody. So it's at some restoration shop.
Is it?
Yeah, I saw pictures of it. The motor torn down, or at least the valve cover is also rusty and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a scam, and the people around it are scammy.
Do the same people still own it that bought it at auction, or did they sell it to somebody else? Because I feel like I heard something about that, but I don't know if that's accurate.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even want to
Don't pay
lower
attention.
myself.
Yeah,
I don't want to lower myself to where I'm paying attention to anything having to do with the Black Ghost.
Right.
I looked at the pictures that popped up online just because, okay, why not? But that's as far as I'm gonna go with it. I already did 2 whole videos on the Black Ghost.
Yeah. So that's over.
I don't want to soil my psyche
Any more than it
with
already is.
the ass clowns and thieves and con men and idiots surrounding that car.
Yeah.
As well as the idiots that do videos and write stories about that car.
Corey Melvin says, don't blame me a bit. Watch your videos on the Black Ghost. Still haven't made up my mind entirely about it.
You don't have to make me mine. I'm telling you what it was. I made up your mind for you.
This is what it is.
This is what it is, okay? This is what it is.
Some people would disagree.
Well, they're
They do
idiots.
that.
They're idiots. No, listen. I'm all for discourse. I'm all for accepting people's opinions on things.
It's good.
Learning
It's
from
good to
people.
learn
My
from
eyes
people.
and ears are always open. I'm
Yes.
always learning.
Uh-huh.
Okay, always.
Right.
And I never discriminate who I'm learning from.
Right.
A 16-year-old kid might
Uh-huh.
teach me or might show me a different angle or a different view, and so I'm always open to that.
Yeah.
Except when it comes to stuff. What? This, okay? So, no.
No. Okay.
No. If you can't see
Uh-huh.
what's actually going on with what happened with that, you're an idiot.
Okay.
If you're on the fence, if you can't make up your mind, well, maybe the story's partially true, you're an idiot.
Tony, it's not personal.
You're in the wrong. No, take it however you want to take it. You're in the wrong world, bro. All right, go ahead.
Are you upset by the Black Ghost?
Am I what?
Are you upset by the Black Ghost?
No, I'm not upset by the Black Ghost at all. The Black Ghost is actually a very cool car. It's a triple back Gator Grain 4-speed Hemi Challenger. Yes, it's a very cool car. But it's all the nonsense that's around it.
Nonsense, right. Well, people need to sell, and that's how they sell. Make up stories. It's called advertising, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
It's called being a con man.
Yeah, it is that. It's kind of like what selling is about sometimes. Okay, so Sean Davison says, what wire do you run in Fluxy, and do you think it's good to weld patch panels with?
Sure, absolutely. I've welded everything with Fluxy. I go to Harbor Freight. I buy the 35 thousandths wire. I usually go out buy like 4 or 5 rolls. Every time I go to buy wire, it's $100. And they're like $22 a roll, so it's like I get 4 or 5 rolls. Yeah, that's what I've been using on it. Just a regular Harbor Freight flux core wire. I've welded. Well, slag hammer. I literally welded every single thing on that car. Pieced it together from nothing with a flux core. 100% of the welds in that car were done with a flux core.
Hey Tony, what would it take for you to do some videos building a budget C-body, since they're the last Mopar that's affordable?
My problem is I'm not adding any more cars to the fleet. I'm removing cars from the
Except for
fleet.
maybe a Monte SF. A really nice one.
We'd have to get rid of the Swinger. If we get rid of the Swinger,
Okay.
if we get rid of the Swinger,
This is how fast I said okay.
well, see, now that car's a turd.
Okay.
See, now I'm going to run an eBay listing on that car on honest eBay listing.
On the swinger?
Yeah, this car is a turd.
It's not how you're gonna title it.
Yes.
Zero says, wait, did I win the swinger?
Zero, I'll tell you what, my brother, you make your way out of here, I'll give you the damn thing. You, only you. Only you.
He's gonna hold you to that.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. No, I would list that car as a turd because it was literally.
He says, just kidding. Oh, man.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. No, I mean, that car was built out
It was
of.
built to have parts you wouldn't sell.
So for you guys who aren't familiar with the story on that car, right? It looks good. It makes a nice
It
appearance.
does make a nice appearance.
Makes a really nice appearance.
It's not that horrible.
But when we were in the parts business, we were heavy in the parts business. You know, I mean, it was crazy, right? And
So it says I will still want it.
I was forever coming across stuff that was not nice enough to sell because it's cracked, it's bent, it's warped, it's chipped, it's whatever, okay? But it's too nice to throw away.
Right, yeah. They weren't perfect pieces. Oh, every piece they went on that car.
Every single piece on that car. So the stuff that was too nice to throw away, I would pile up. I would give away a lot of shit too. Like if you bought something and it's like, oh, you want this? Here, take this too, right? So I gave a lot of stuff away, but what I did was I was dealing with A-body parts. I had A-body parts at the wazoo. I was selling them for A-bodies only. I used to post under White Punk on Nitro for A-bodies only. So I had, God only knows how much in the way of A-body stuff. I had a whole.
I also bought rollers, multiple rollers at the same time, and that car was one of them.
Well, yes. What happened was, I bought a load of stuff from a guy, and it came with three. It was a package. It was 3 cars. One of them was a complete car. One of them was partially disassembled. One of them was a bare roller. The bare roller had a nice roof. Okay. It had a nice roof, nice frame rails, stuff like that, and the quarters looked okay. And it was like, I don't really want to cut this up for parts because this could be a car. So I took it and I stuck it in the backyard next to my shed over here, right? And it sat there for about 2 years, 3 years. And the whole time that it sat there, I'm cycling through parts. We sold thousands of parts, okay? And every time I'd come across one of these things that would fit a 70 through 72 dart that was too nice to throw away, but not nice enough to sell, I made a pile. And I kept piling it up. And then when there was enough of it, we went in the backyard, Kathy and I, we went in the backyard and we built this whole car out of these parts. So 100% of everything that's on that car is a reject for whatever reason. But we use it as a daily driver.
Was new.
What's that?
The headliner was new.
The headliner was, yeah, we put a new headliner.
Degrees,
But it's like even like the glass that's on the car, like the windshield had scratches in it.
Put the windshield in, oh my gosh.
You remember that?
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah. 100% of everything that's on that car is secondary reject. It was whacked in one way or another, and we built an entire car out of it. Now we use it as our daily driver for a long time. Mm-hmm. So underneath, it's all Bondo. It's all just. It's junk. The car's a turd from one end to the other. So it would be like that would be a classic flipper car, like that would end up at one of these consignment places, and they'd spray a quick paint job on it, right? You know.
We should do a contest. Whoever can figure out what the original car of the Swinger was. What was the original color of the Swinger? Don't say it.
I remember what it was.
I remember what it was.
Yeah, we needed an orange car, so that's why we painted it orange. And then it was just one of those things like, well, we need an orange car.
You guys think about what color it was. Bill McKiska sent you super chat.
Thank you, Bill.
Tony, have you ever driven a Jensen Interceptor with a 440? And if so, how did the performance compare to a traditional low pro with the same engine?
My friend Billy Belfato had one. This is back in the 1980s. And Billy had one. I drove it. I was not impressed by it. it was a it was an extremely heavy car. Like if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. It was close to 5,000 pounds. Because it wasn't. It's not intended. It was supposed to be a grand touring type of car. So they made everything extra heavy, extra everything, extra stuffed, and it wasn't like a hot rod 440. It was just like a regular low compression, the 440. I wasn't greatly impressed by it. I remember now. You're talking about 40 something years ago. My memory is from 40 something years ago now, but I do remember not being impressed by it. Like where it's like, okay, from that point forward, anytime I saw it at Jensen Intercenter, it was like,
Okay, we got colors coming up here. Okay, Dr. Butcher says puke green.
no.
Nope. Let's see. Kona Blue 75 says snot green.
No.
Loud Pipe Save Live 69 says Olivia Green. Tanny White says baby crap green. Nope. Oh, that really makes it hard now, doesn't it? Let's see. Olive green, nope.
Well, everybody's just green now.
Yeah, Hugger orange, nope. Baby ship brown, nope. Oh, somebody's gonna wear a t-shirt if you get the right color. Adam Culberson says Tom Green, no. Plum Crazy, no. Nobody got it yet. 318 Magnum got it. It was baby blue.
Yep.
318 Magnum, send us your shirt size and your address at gmail.com and we'll send you a shirt. Baby blue. It was baby blue.
It came this close to being Panther Pink. Because at the time we were putting the car together, right? There's a Panther Pink with a white top, white gut. You know why we didn't go Panther Pink?
Why?
We didn't have the white interior parts.
Oh, that's probably why.
There was
There's not a black interior with pink.
No, it doesn't have that same effect.
Mm.
There's a Panther. I'm sure you can find pictures of it. Just look at Panther Pink Dart. There was a Panther Pink Dart. I guess it says white gut, white type, white bumblebee stripe, and I was like, oh my god, that's just so beautiful. And it would have been Panther Pink if I had any black interior parts, but I only had black. If I had white interior parts,
Right.
but I only had black, and it's not the same. So
You can only get white interior parts new. You're not gonna find those used in good condition.
Yeah.
Rusty Fuel sent you a super chat. My brake bleeder tool broke. How do I bleed brakes by yourself? How do you bleed them by yourself?
I gravity bleed like everything. I was gravity bleeding brakes, even when I got to the point, even when like I was doing regular work, customers' cars and stuff like that, and I had people around to help me bleed brakes, I would still gravity bleed because I find that gravity bleeding is the most efficient way, right? It gets rid of everything. Sometimes it's hard to initiate the gravity bleed. So, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if there are any exceptions where you may have a problem with it. Sometimes it's difficult to initiate a gravity bleed. So what I would do is put the fill the master, put the lid on it, pump, and you're making soup in there. You're making all bubbles and shit like that. But it's okay, because what happens is now when you open a bleed screw in the back, it's that pressure that you put by pumping initiates the flow. So what I'll do is I'll open up 2 back bleed screws. You got to take the lid off the master cylinder, obviously, because the air has to get in there. Can't be any, So you want to have your lid off the master cylinder. Start it off. Fill the master cylinder. Put the cap on the master cylinder. Pump until you've got a spongy disaster. Okay. Then uncap the master cylinder. Go to the back of the car. Open the back bleed screws. Watch the bleed screws. When you see it, steady drip, shut them off, and then you do the fronts. And 100% of the time, you get a good pedal. Then when you do it this way, there's no chance of having trapped air. And you can't be in a rush, right? You can't be in a rush to do it. It's like gravity bleeding isn't something you do, I gotta get this car out the door, let me gravity bleed it. you pressure bleed it at that point. But if you've got 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, like you finish it up, then 100% of the time, gravity bleed it, and you'll be 100% of the time happy with the results.
Zero says everyone wants to be a badass until badass things need to get done.
This is very true.
This is true. This is true. Can we get an update on Andy's GTX?
He just drives it.
Yeah.
It's just like his daily driver.
Mm-hmm. And he moved, so he's a little further away from us now.
He's in Virginia now?
Yeah, he's in Virginia.
Yeah. We talk occasionally.
Yeah.
And he's got a charger he wants to do. But I don't have the space right now. So I'm going to try to figure out what to do here. But he has a 68 charger. And it's an RT.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a neat idea, right? So this is for...
Give it away, though.
Well, it's okay. You're just talking among friends. So this is for his wife. So what he did was he gave her a catalog for a dealer brochure for a 68 charger, and told her pick out all the options,
Oh, nice.
all the color, whatever you want in a car, the color, the interior.
Oh, she married well.
What's that?
Nothing. I said I love you.
So his objective with this charger project is to create the car that she wants as if she went and ordered it from the dealer. And I really want to do this with him. My problem is I don't have the space right now. So, and it's a long-term project, It's not, like the GTX was supposed to be in and out. We had banked on it being like a 3-week.
Well, he went in for a tune-up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We banked on it being like a 2-3 week thing, right?
Tune-up and brakes or something like that.
And it ended up for over a year.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with this charger. I want to do this project. I think it'd be a great project. I really enjoyed working with him, but I see this thing dragging on for 2, 3, 4 years, and I just cannot. I just don't have the space for it.
Let's see. You got a super chat from
Thank you.
Sneak. Thinking of buying a mostly complete 350 from Blueprint Engines for my '89 Chevy OBS truck.
Okay.
It has a carb and HEI. Would there be any advantage to changing it to points?
No.
Angels got their wings.
Yes.
I checked my phone. Oops, sorry.
No, there's no advantage to it. If you've got an HEI, keep the HEI. But you need to be aware that the modules that they sell today are shit. They're prone to failure. If you can, try to find, so run what you have, right? But try to find an old module. I don't care if you go to a junkyard and you find, a 76 Chevy with it's sitting there, and grab the module out of that. Try to find either a new old stock or an original General Motors produced module and throw that in your glove compartment, because the Chinese one that you're getting on that crate engine is going to fail. So no, I would just keep it. What you doing, babe?
I got a message from 318 Magnum
Oh.
with his address, but he didn't give me his name.
Well, his name is 318 Magnum. Maybe his parents named him.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I got
Okay.
it.
Babe. Good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. See, that sounds awesome. Make sure she checks the 3-inch side pipe box on that 68 charger. Oh, okay.
Make sure she what?
Oh, checks the 3-inch side pipe box on the 68 charger. But she checks off what she wants for the charger. Yeah. Vehicle 20, I scored a complete 440 minus the, I don't know. Oh, it was deleted because they messed up. They didn't finish the sentence.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah, 318 Magnum won the baby blue shirt. Let's see. They're talking about modules. They're talking to each other. Sorry, Tony, there's no more questions for you.
Oh, well, that's it. It was fun knowing all you guys.
Was it fun? Kathy, what options did you check off? Oh, that's right, none.
Oh, she insisted that the car have air conditioning.
Who did?
You did.
What car have air
The
conditioning?
Swinger.
It
When we put
doesn't
the Swinger
work.
together.
It doesn't work though.
It doesn't work anymore.
It never
It did
works.
for a little while.
Tony, just admit that it hasn't worked. Just own it. It's okay.
It would work for periods of time.
No,
It was
it
very
means
failure
It
prone.
blew, like it made noise like it was doing something, but it wasn't air conditioning.
So,
Whatever it was doing, it wasn't air conditioning. Oh, your
so
brother says Happy Father's Day, Brother D.
happy Father's Day, James.
Happy Father's Day, James.
So when okay, so the AC worked well for a period of time. It
No,
didn't
it
work. It didn't work at first. When I first put it together, and we couldn't get the air worked. Compressor was working. All
It
that
worked
shit was
well for
working.
1972.
What?
No, it didn't work well.
Will you let me tell the story?
Go ahead.
Okay. So when I first put it together, the compressor worked. Everything was working, but it wouldn't blow any cold air. So, and I for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was going on. Eventually, I pulled the heater box out and found that the heater box was loaded with mice nests, right? Mouse nests. So, took it apart, cleaned it all out. Then the end of the season came, right? And it was like, no, the AC was pointless. So I just left it, right? Then, with the heater box fresh, we had good AC for a while, but remember this car was built out of scrap parts, and the compressor took a dump. So I just left it, right? Then I put a compressor on it, and the expansion valve was bad. So it changed out the expansion valve. We had AC for a little while. And again, you got to the point that it was like the end of the season. We're going to heat now. Then the cable. There's a steel cable that operates the blend door on that thing, and it kinked. It folded over, so you could never get it all the way to the cool. It was always partially to the hot. So this car's had a series. Then I bought an expansion valve last year. I bought an expansion valve off of from Rock Auto. So the first one they sent me was the wrong one. It was boxed wrong. I ordered another one, and it never worked. You have to actually tap it to get it, so you wouldn't get any cold air. But if you got to open the hood and you tapped it, you'd get cold air, and then it would stop working. So that's the eternal story with this car. It's always been a gotcha with the AC on
Okay,
that.
so I have to address this. Alright, so when we had that car and I asked for AC, we had no XGs. We didn't have any cars with AC.
Yes.
And also, I wear glasses. So unless you've driven with glasses on and it's very humid and you sweat a lot, you realize like they get fogged up. You can't freaking see. So Mexican Spec is saying, oh, last summer I drove my 63 Savoy with no air. If I can drive mine here, you don't need it over there. I kind of need it.
I'm with him.
I sweat.
But
Sorry.
wait, if you remember,
He says I also wear glasses. Is it humid in Mexico? I don't know.
if you remember correctly,
Yeah.
the reason that we hustled the car together
Uh-huh.
was because that's when we were going to do Cars Illustrated magazine online.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who I won't mention, who was bankrolling all of that, wanted us to be at the was it the Woodward Dream Cruise?
There's something like that, yeah.
Whatever it was. And so her and I hustled this car together over the course of we literally built the entire car in the backyard on the grass.
Kathy's perspires. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Be nice, Tony.
We literally built this whole car in the backyard on the grass, over the course of like 3 weeks, a month. And that includes not only assembling the whole car, but painting it too, right? Do you remember how good it looked the day that we painted it?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And I took you to Nashville. We went to Nashville. We were going to go into that.
For my birthday.
That's right, it was your birthday.
Yeah, it was my birthday.
Right. And we were so busy looking at the car as we walked away from it, we walked into the wrong restaurant. But where was I going with this?
That there was a nice paint job, and we just tried to finish it to go to the Woodward Dream Cruise, I think.
Right. And then
we're talking about the Swinger, the 72 Swinger, the orange car.
there was something I wanted to bring up about that. I don't remember. Remember the motor swap?
Well, you were talking about the air conditioning, and everybody's telling me I don't need AC.
Do you remember the world's fastest motor swap?
Which one?
On the Swinger.
Oh, yeah.
So this is when we would daily drive in the car, right? And it was maybe a year before we started doing YouTube. We would daily drive in the car. And
wait, you have a super truck.
oh,
Corey Melvin says any good alternatives to a gear vendor's overdrive?
stock overdrive, a factory overdrive unit. The gear vendor stuff is not cheap. So I don't know what your budget is. If you've got deep pockets, no, it's a good thing. Me personally, I like the factory overdrive stuff. And it's not just the affordability. It's also the fact that all of the parts are available through normal channels. Where you go with the gear vendor stuff, all of those parts are going to be only through gear vendors. We got to stop that. All right. Open the back door so they can run around back there. So, all right. The world's fastest engine swap. Okay. When I put the car together, I had engines everywhere, right? So I had what I thought was a good running 318. In fact, I came out of a parts car that I drove to the lot. So I knew the motor was okay. A lot of miles on it. It was a dirty motor. So inside now. So when we put the car together, I was like, okay, let's just throw this 318 in there. And I did, and we used it for 2 or 3 years, just as our daily. And we were up in Nashville, and the oil light was unsteady, okay? And the oil in it, but the oil light was unsteady. And this thing was just reaching the end of its life. But in the meantime, this was the only running daily that we had at the time. I've always got 2 or 3 dailies that are just, it was in constant rotation. But it just so happened that during this particular day, it was the only daily that we had that was up and running. Everything else was apart. So we're driving home from Nashville, and I got a steady oil light on, and this thing's, the lifters are clacking and everything else. I'm like, geez, what are we gonna do? So this is on the interstate. I get off the exit by the shop, and that's it. Motor's dead, okay? So now what am I gonna do? I got nothing that runs. The only thing I have that runs is my wrecker, okay? So I go to the shop. So this all happened at like 11 o'clock in the morning, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, right? The shop is about a mile from where the car, where the engine laid down. I walked, trotted, jogged to the shop, got the wrecker, went back, dragged the Swinger to the shop. Now I need a car here, right? So I had another parts car with another 318 sitting there. So at 11 o'clock in the morning, I get the Swinger with a bad engine into the bay. Within 45 minutes, the motor is out. Then I went and pulled the motor out of the parts car. The 318 was in the parts car. I guess it was about 3 o'clock by the time I finished that. Installed it in the Swinger, and we finished everything by 7 o'clock. So we blew the motor on the interstate, pulled 2 engines, installed one, and drove it out in 8 hours. which, if you ask me, is pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. Philip says, what do you think of remanufactured transmissions? Good, bad? I don't know. You rebuild your home.
My friend Erie Eric, who I believe we're going to go live with this week. He bought a transmission. I'm not going to mention the company, but it's the biggest name in automatic transmissions, aftermarket automatic transmissions. You'd say it was like a monster of a name. Okay. He bought one. He paid almost. This was an overdrive 727, right? An overdrive cost of 727. He paid something like on the order of $6,500, almost $7,000 with delivery for this transmission. It laid down on him. He didn't want to bother me with it, right? But it laid down on him right after he installed it in his vehicle, and could get absolutely no satisfaction. Like they wouldn't even return his phone calls. So he was out that money. He ended up getting another unit from somebody else and put it together. Then about 2 months ago, he called me up. This is right after he told me the horror, like a week after he tells me the horror story about this thing from this crazy story. He calls me up and he says, I got a used transmission, or I picked up a transmission from somebody. I'm not going to mention the name because I'm not really sure who it was. He put it in his kid's car and it wouldn't shift. There's no shifting, right? So he pulls it back out. He's trying to figure out what's going on with it. And as it turns out, they never tightened the lock nut on the band adjuster. And so it just walked itself out. And he's not a transmission guy. He doesn't even know to look at this. But that's what happened. It backed out, and the strut that holds the band, from the adjustment, fell out, and that was it. So, what do I think of aftermarket transmissions? I think learn how to do it yourself. I think learn how to do it yourself. If you're talking about a traditional American, you're talking about a traditional American automatic transmission. From the era, okay. Shush. So this would be like Power Glides, Turbo 350s, Turbo 400s, 200 R4s, 700 R4s, the Fords, C4s, C6, the FMX, all of those transmissions, the Torque Flight, right? Any of those transmissions, any of those traditional American transmissions are easily rebuilt, easily serviced by a competent mechanic. So if you're watching this channel, you already have the skills necessary. I'll almost guarantee you've already got the skills necessary to do one of these transmissions yourself.
The zone's kind of a little crazy right now. Sorry, everybody. I think they want trees. I just gave them like bones a while ago.
Miss Anxiety.
Knock my computer over. What do you think about chassis saver paint?
What do I think about what?
Chassis saver paint.
I'm not familiar with chassis saver paint.
No.
VHT makes a really good chassis epoxy that I've used. When I was doing two chassis cars, when I was deep in the funny car and top fuel insanity, right? I used VHT, because VHT used to send us products, so we had cases. Anything you needed, they'd send you cases, and you just put the sticker on the car. So I used to use the VHT black chassis epoxy on all of those cars, and it worked really well. It was impervious to nitro and all of that. Then later on, after I stopped that, I found appliance epoxy I'm trying to think where I used to buy this stuff. It's been a while now. Late 1990s, early 2000s, I was doing a lot of motorcycle stuff and painting the frames on those things. I was using appliance epoxy. Geez, I can't remember where I bought it, where I got it. Is it GE? I don't know. Look up appliance epoxy and try that. That's probably your cheapest alternative for. And now Kathy left. See, I'm finished with that thing, and now she's gone completely, and I have no way to. So I have to put my glasses on and come around and see what you guys are saying. So let's see. Okay. Sharon, Sears. Who's Sharon? And yes, Sears. Firefly despises aluminum valve bodies. Okay. Okay. Oh, you. Hey, boy, what's happening, brother, man? Mexican expect should have paid attention to transfer. Oh, okay, wait, she's back. See? I hate when she does that.
I have to take care of the dog.
Okay. Oh, now I don't need my glasses.
You look so smart with them.
The only time I need these to read,
Yeah.
and I need these to shoot video off the GoPro. Because you know you have to watch yourself to know what's in the background and everything. And if I'm not wearing glasses, I can't see the freaking GoPro.
I can't see the GoPro either. Sharon, yeah. Oh, zero, thank you. Okay. Did you read this one?
Who's Sharon?
You know, Sharon. Sharon.
Sharon. Oh, okay.
Oh, not that, Sharon. Hey, Tony, if you absolutely had to, how would you go about adding cruise control to a mid-60s car?
I don't know.
No?
I have no idea. There's got to be kits. I'm sure the street rod guys.
Have conversion kits?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Ask it. You know, search cruise control. Go to like the ham, like the hokey ass message board, the ham, and search cruise control. You know, in their threads, I guarantee there's going to be 1,000 options for that. But offhand, I don't know any of them.
Philip says more conspiracy and old man wisdom.
Oh God. None of it's conspiracy though. Everything I don't say anything that's controversial that can be considered. That's not to say that I've said it since day one. I am #1 conspiracy guy, right? But if I talk about it in a video, right, there is no conspiracy. It is actual. You go fact check it, 100%. You know, it may not be knowledge that's common. It may not be knowledge that people don't want you to have for whatever reason, whatever nefarious type of reason. But if I mention it in a video, you can take it to the bank that it's an actual fact and there's no conspiracy involved at all. Now that's not to say that I don't go down 1,000 different rabbit holes where things are possibly this or possibly that. But if I mention it in a video, take it to the bank, it's fact.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Cruise control is a string going through the firewall. Where were you when the Challenger exploded? That's not a car question. Where were you? I know where I was.
I know exactly where I was. I was standing in it. We were in an apartment on not Caulfield, in Little Israel. What's the hell's the name of it? Crafton Avenue.
I was at work.
I was standing I was working on the Roadrunner.
Okay, so you must have been home.
In the driveway, yeah. I was working on a Roadrunner and I went in the house to get something. I don't remember what it was. And I was walking past the TV, because the TV is just always on. Mm-hmm. And they had the Challenger thing going on. And why I remember that, I don't know. But that's where I was when.
I've had a Sears cruise control. I guess Sears made them.
I don't know.
Do you miss Sears, Tony?
Yeah. Sears was good. Sears was good.
One of the few stores that was actually like valuable. Christopher Messer says I miss Sears too. Yeah.
Sears was like good utility stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you needed pants, you had to
Or a
Sears,
house.
right? Yeah, good
You buy a
house stuff.
house.
Good.
No,
Yeah.
a house.
Oh yeah, you could buy a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sears was really Sears was rugged utility stuff. Anything that they sold at Sears was like, you know, it wasn't like foo-foo or Macy's, right? You know.
For animals.
Yeah, Sears was the working man's department store. You know what I mean? And then Sears was good.
Sears had great lawnmowers. I remember I used to go buy my vacuum cleaners there.
Yeah.
They weighed like 100 pounds to try and drag them up the steps.
Yeah, and my mother used to hit me with those. I was a kid.
Oh, Tony.
Please.
Let's see. I miss the Sears catalog except the iron pants. The iron pants for animals. Pre-China craftsman.
Yeah, no, Sears was really good.
The good old days when Sears would deliver a Tommy gun to your door.
Yeah, I remember watching the Klein of Sears because we had one here in town, and when we moved here, it was very active. It was like it was like one of those anchor stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like I guess it was about 5-6 years ago.
John M says Sears was my first credit card. A lot of people.
Everybody's,
right? Yeah.
everybody's.
I think I still have our Sears credit card.
Yep.
Actually, it's in
Yep.
the drawer.
Yeah. Yeah, Sears was everybody's first credit card. Yeah, and then I remember, I guess it was maybe 5-6 years ago, I went in there to exchange some sockets. Because I was thinking for you guys, a lot of you younger guys aren't familiar, right? Sears used to have this no questions asked return policy. Like, if you hurt one of their tools, and when I say hurt, I mean, like you could destroy whatever, you could deliberately bend a torque wrench into a pretzel, okay? You could weld on their tools, and it's like it didn't make any difference. It was like no questions asked, right? You bring it to them, and they replace it with a brand new one. It was phenomenal. So anybody who bought Craftsman stuff, like back in the day, I could afford Snap-on, I could afford any of these, but there was always a catch. You know, you snap a socket, you break a breaker bar, or whatever it happens to be, and it's like, well, you should have luck, okay? But Sears, you could mangle, and I mean, like literally just like mangle these things, and they're like, okay, here, and you know, so yeah. But anyway, I had a handful of broken sockets and stuff like that, and I went there to return it, and the place was just desolate, and I was like, oh god,
Sad, right?
it was sad. It was really sad.
I used to take the kids there all the time for their clothes.
Yeah, Sears was the place.
Yeah. Let's see, Husky Stanley like that now at Home Depot.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I have a lot of old Craftsman shit. I have stuff that's 30, 40 years old, and it's like it's still my favorite.
You don't want the expensive stuff, don't you?
I don't like the smooth stuff. So like Snap-on, right? Or any of the brands, the higher end brands, everything's very polished, smooth, very clean. Sears' stuff always had texture to it, right? And when you're flogging around with, you know, especially when you're trying to work fast, you know what I mean? And your hands are greasy and everything else, that texture that's on the wrenches, you know, it's not just the texture, but like a Craftsman like box wrench, let's just say, has like a, you know, it's got textures on the side, and it has like a rib or flat that runs along the top and the bottom surface, and all of that, it gives you, especially when you try to work fast, it gives you grip. You know, there's a confidence there, and the smooth stuff doesn't really give you that same feel. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Everything new sucks anyway, my Bigfoot sighting says.
What did he say?
Everything new sucks anyway. Aw. The tools are seasoned, Oscar Gonzalez said.
Yes. Very seasoned.
Let's see. Talk about the Sears catalog. Allstate. 21st century crap. You could even buy an airplane from Sears.
Everything. At one point,
I
everything.
like the houses. I wish I could order one of those houses now.
Sears and Roebuck, yeah. So those Sears houses go for a lot of money now.
The ones that are built, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sears got beat by their own business model?
No. It's the same fate for any brick and mortar type of thing. You've got Amazon and you've got all of these other, no. It's not that Sears beat themselves. It was just evolution, evolution took them out.
Oh, Sears by Me had a fantastic photo studio. Remember the Sears photo studio?
Yes.
With just the kids out.
Yes.
It comes to Sears every year.
Yes.
We need the Easter pictures.
That's right.
Yeah. Sears was mail order like Amazon. I think the quality is a little better.
Oh, everything was rugged. You went to Sears, you weren't screwing around, it was rugged.
You were screwing around. Yeah.
You went to Kmart if you were cheap or broke, and Sears if you meant business.
If you wanted stuff to last.
Right.
Yeah. Tony loves his tough skin jeans.
No, they sucked. They sucked.
You didn't like your tough skins?
No, I've always Levi's 501s is all I ever really.
When you were a kid, you didn't wear Levi's 501s.
No.
When you were a kid, you wore tough skins, I'm sure.
Oh, like when I was like 9?
Yeah. I used to wear Wranglers, I think.
I button fly Levi's now since I'm like
when you're
16.
an adult,
Yeah.
right. But not when you're a kid. I think I had Wranglers, and I had a pair of Lees, and I had one pair of Levi's. And they all hurt. They were like cardboard.
For decades, like literally for decades, I never touched a zipper.
Really?
Think about it.
I guess you have button flies, right?
Yeah. All my street clothes and all my work clothes were button flies.
Right. But I didn't get to wear pants that often because I always had to wear skirts. So, there's nothing Sears didn't carry. That's true. You want a washing machine? Yeah.
Kenmore.
You want a jacket? Sure.
Kenmore. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And repairable. And anything you needed to service, boom, you go right there and there it is, whatever you need. Nothing ever had to be ordered.
Sears was unique in that way. Like, because now Home Depot has all that stuff. Where do you go get a washing machine or a refrigerator? You don't go to a department store.
No, but the point is,
Depot.
no, you missed the point, right? So yeah, Home Depot and Lowe's have appliances,
Right.
but they don't have a parts department for the appliances. You have to go order whatever you need.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sears, if you bought Kenmore shit,
Yeah, you could get a part.
you go to any Sears and you need this O-ring, you need this pump, you need this switch, whatever. It's there,
Yeah, I
it's in
remember
stock,
I
and
used
it's
to get
cheap.
parts for my vacuum cleaners
Yeah.
there when I needed it. Because I
Yep.
would buy a Sears vacuum, and then whenever I needed a belt or I needed a new hose or I needed
Right.
whatever, I would go get the parts right
Anything
there.
you need. You need the on-off switch takes a shit. Go to Sears, they got it on the shelf.
Yeah.
I missed that.
So where do you buy?
That's so boomer.
Where do you buy a good vacuum cleaner now that weighs 100 pounds?
You
You don't.
You don't.
My plastic one, if I grab the hose, it always falls over and smacks me in the head.
But that one we bought when we moved here was pretty miraculous. That hung in there for
Yeah, it was
almost
pretty
20
good.
years.
Yeah, it just kept going.
Yeah.
I don't remember what kind it was. I remember. Okay, Boomer. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Sears had a place to go to buy parts for the appliances they carried. Any parts.
Yeah.
Franklin Upholsters.
You know what was like that too?
Mm-mm.
Honda. that was one of the things. I've always had a great respect for Honda everything, motorcycles, cars. We have Honda. We have a Honda Super Cup. Always had a great respect for Hondas, and one of the Honda policies, and I don't know when they stopped this, right? But I know it was active into the 1990s, right? One of the Honda's policies, well, so when Soichiro Honda was promoting his company, right, building the company, there was a lot of apprehension of Americans not being able to get replacement parts for their Japanese bikes. So the company policy, and his statement was, buy a vehicle from me today, and I will supply parts for it forever, right? And that was the Honda policy, okay? So, and it applied to cars, motorcycles, anything, right? They kept it in stock. So I remember in like the late 1990s, for some reason I ended up doing a lot of like CB450s. For some reason, CB450s, the twin with the torsion bar. And actually that was one of the things. I had a 65 CB450 with the torsion bar valve springs, and the torsion bar broke. And I was able to go to the Honda car dealer, and the Honda car dealer, because it was just local to me, and I said, well, let me take a shot at this, right? The Honda car dealer called over to the Honda motorcycle dealer, which wasn't close to me, and had them send the parts to the car dealership. And so, yeah, brand new 1965 CB450 torsion bar for the valve spring, for the valves. 30 years after it was built, brand new from Honda. So that was one of the things I always appreciated about, Hondas. Not anymore.
No.
No, I seriously doubt they carry anything.
Franklin says, holy cow, Sears Parts Direct website is still active.
Is it really?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe you can get some tools there, Tony. People being timed out all over the place. Good job, guys. So, you're barely a boomer, Tony. I don't know why people are like, okay, boomer. You're barely a boomer.
Barely, but I'm still a boomer when I look at it.
I'm not a boomer at all.
But you also have to understand, too, that I always ran with kids that were older than me.
Right.
Right?
Me
so,
too.
Yeah, so when I was like 12, 13, 14, I was hanging out with 15, 16, 17-year-olds. So, always people, my friends were always I was always the youngest kid in the group. So, I really had boomer values. Because I was surrounded by boomers. So, not just chronologically, but intellectually and experience-wise, I'm a
I
fucking
spent a lot of time around old people.
boomer. So did I.
Like the greatest generation, that's who I hung out with.
Yeah. Well, and like when I was a teenager, I used to hang out, so George Halley, right?
Yeah.
So George I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. George had to be 45 at that point.
Yeah.
Right? I followed him around everywhere because he fixed all the neighborhood cars at his house.
Right.
And I used to hang around his place and just wipe tools down or scrape gaskets. He used me as the gasket scraper. So I remember I was 12, 13 years old, and that was my thing. He'd give me a razor blade, he'd climb under the hood of that Chevelle with a straight six, and scrape the deck. So I did all his shit jobs. But I learned a lot of values from George, right? John Taddeo. So John lived 2 doors down from George, and John was a used car dealer, and he sold cars out of his house. I'm going to do a whole video on John at some point.
Are you?
Yes, absolutely. John
You'll
died.
have to get me on Monty SS to do that video.
I am going to do a whole video on John Taddeo at some point.
Okay.
Right? Because I learned so much from him, and a lot of what you see on this channel, like where I get pissed off about certain things, right? I really learned from him, because during those formative years, I was like 14, 15, 16 years old, and he was selling cars from across the street. I learned something. The thing with John, okay, he was so good at what he did, right? That if I'm making this up, Kathy was there. She would remember this. You know, towards the end, people would go to John, right, and put in orders for cars.
Yeah.
So in other words, he was a used car dealer.
Yeah.
Okay, and people would go to his house and put in an order for a car and give him a deposit. They give him like $1,000 deposit,
Right.
and then John would go and pick a car. He would go to the auction, go to Bordentown was his thing, right? He would go to the auction, pick a car for the customer, then bring it home and call them up and say, your car's here. And they would come and they would like, I got you a Regal. Right? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a lot. Okay, so people don't network like that anymore. He had a good base of people who knew him by name, who recommended him all over the place.
Yes.
Like he had a huge word of mouth and a huge network, real social network of real people local to him.
Okay.
People don't really have that anymore.
So here's one of the things I learned from John that I it's been like the foundation of my automotive life and this channel too, right? So John would go to the auctions. I would go with him. I would inspect cars there. I was a teenager. But I was the guy he'd send, climb onto that one, see what you think, look at that one, look at this one. So he would tell me what to go look at in each of these cars. So John, this was just pure brilliance, okay? He would almost exclusively only buy intermediate GM cars. So your Montes, your Malibus, your Cutlasses, your Regals, Grand Prix, right?
Those are big sellers on Staten Island at the time. Everybody had one.
Well, okay, John's, so and I was like,
it was a popular car.
So this used to kill me because I was such a Mopar fanatic. Okay, fanatic. You gotta understand that. You think I'm bad now. You should have seen me when I was like 15, 16, 17 years old. And it used to kill me that he would only buy GM intermediate cars. And I would always be trying, we'd be at the auction and like, a Coronet would go through or whatever. It was still relatively late model cars at the time, or Cordoba, or whatever it was. And he'd be like, nope, 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 nope. So finally I said, why do you only buy these cars? He says, because greater minds than mine have determined that the middle of the road buyer wants this middle of the road car, and this middle of the road price, and this middle of the road everything, okay? And he was exactly right, because General Motors, so the biggest corporation in the world at the time, selling more cars than anybody else, determined the middle ground car, the intermediate car. That intermediate car was the middle ground of what the middle of society wanted. And they dressed it in every possible way. So if you want something sporty, you get an Olds 442. It's a Cutlass, right? You want something luxurious, you get a Regal or you see what I'm saying? But it's all the same car. So because it was all the same car with all of these different flavors. Yes.
That's why they sold the way they did.
Well, but they styled it. Remember, General Motors styled this to appeal to the middle class, middle of the road buyer. So everything was styled along those lines. So he was able to pick from this wide variety of cars that all had the same parts. So he always had air conditioning compressors and just straight like I remember his garage he had shelves just like I have mine set up now with shelves along the top part of it, and it was all replacement parts for anything he bought from the auction. There was all these replacement parts to fit these General Motors intermediates that he was dealing with at the time. So no matter what he needed, it was there on the shelf. And it was a quick in and out. So when he would sell a car to a customer, they come back like 2 weeks later and let's say the cruise control doesn't work. He'd be like, okay. And he would grab cruise control, whatever it was off the thing and plug it into the car and send them on their way. And he kept his customers happy that way. And then the other thing he did was he would go to the auction, he'd buy 4 or 5 cars. And most of these cars would be pre-sold because he had this reputation now that you just don't worry about what kind of car you need. Let John pick your car. And they would go in and give him a deposit and he'd go to the auction. And they'd tell him, yeah, I want something blue, or I want something green, or I need a 4-door, or I need a station wagon, whatever it happened to be. And John would just do the rest. And he'd bring it home and they'd buy their car, they'd come, they smile, they pay him the money and they drive away. But anything he ever bought from the auction, so help me, okay? So I lived directly across the street from him. So the transporter would come with 4 or 5 cars, and he would send them immediately over to me across the street. And
a tiny little street.
do you remember how crazy that was?
It's crazy.
Okay.
But people for parking spaces anyway. It was
We-
a big deal.
We were running this massive enterprise
Yeah.
on this little East Figueroa in Staten Island, okay? We were running this massive enterprise where I had my regular car customers would come to me, all the neighborhoods, I fixed their cars, and then John had selling cars to all the neighbors, right? And the transporter would come and drop off 4 or 5 cars, and then immediately, before anybody came to look at their car, pick up the car or anything like that, he'd send them across the street to me. And every car got new brake pads, new brake shoes, new shocks all the way around, right? Whether it needed it or not, because that was his thing. He's gonna, like the common wear items. Every single car, whether it needed it or not, new brake pads, new brake shoes, new shocks, new belts, and if the hoses, okay? So anything common wear parts, and everything would get lubricated. So back then everything had Zerk fittings. So every Zerk fitting had to get greased. There was this whole routine that we would go through in every single car. So that when he handed it to the customer, tune-ups, right? If he needed tune-up, plug wires looked a little shady or anything like that, he would drop the money, whatever it happened to be, and then move the car onto the customer. And everybody was just so happy, and so I learned so much from John. It was amazing. And that's the foundation of kind of how I view things today.
Do people fight for parking spots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just fought for parking
They
spots.
still do to this day.
It was insanity.
Sold as is? Is it sold as is?
No, he would stand behind stuff.
Yeah.
He would stand behind stuff.
He had a good
Not
reputation.
forever. You know,
Right.
30 days, 90 days, whatever it was, he shook your hand, and if anything went wrong with that car, it got fixed.
It's a different world, Tony. You know?
It is a different
It's a
world,
different world.
But and this guy was successful. He made more than
You made a lot of money.
Oh, he made stupid money, right?
Every Guido in Staten Island had a Monte Carlo.
He made stupid money. Guys with regular car lots didn't make anything. Remember Benny, right? Up the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everybody was jealous of John.
Yeah.
Because he has these used car lots, and he's got like 40 cars on the lot, and he's lucky if he sells like 2 a week. And John's selling like 1 a day. Just firing them out there because of his reputation.
Sounds like a decent fella.
He was great. He was
Sold
great.
as is. Was he buying V8 cars or 6-cylinder cars?
Both. He bought a lot of knockers. He would buy. So back then, the Buick V6s, the 231s, before they straightened everything out. So the first generation of those 231s, he'd go to the auction and deliver. If the body was clean, the interior was nice, but the motor was knocking, he'd buy the car, bring it back to me. We had the 231 V6 intermediate engine swapped out to 4 hours. And I did at least one a week.
Mm-hmm.
At least one a week. And I did them in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Your mom loved that.
Hey, listen, I was making bank.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours from the time the car would.
Oil change? You did oil change?
Yeah, all of the common maintenance, everything was fresh. When you came to pick up a car at John's, everything was fresh. Everything was as good as it could possibly be.
I knew a guy that filled engines with motor honey.
Yeah, there was lots of those people.
He sold me a Pinto. Went to see him 20 times a month. Laugh out loud.
his cards. It was Camille Taddeo's Auto Sales. It was under
Was
his
it
wife's name.
his wife's name?
Yeah. Camille Taddeo's
It's a
Auto
New York
Sales.
thing to do.
Right.
Everything goes under your wife's name.
Yeah. It still is to this day, really.
I don't know why that is.
Because we get ourselves in trouble.
Okay.
Wives don't get themselves in trouble. We get ourselves in trouble. So we put everything in the wife's name. It's just the way it is, right? So, and he would brag on himself. And he was like, people aren't coming to buy a used car.
Mm.
People are coming to buy a car from me.
Yeah.
And that's everything right there. That's everything right there.
Long time ago.
Yeah. He died from he had pancreatic cancer. He died like right after we moved here.
Yeah. He moves to Florida.
Yeah, he moved to Florida and died like right after. I learned so much from that guy. So much of what you see on this channel comes directly from what I learned from him when I was a teenager.
Would he advertise on the radio? No, he worked out of his house.
Worked out of his house.
An attached house.
With a one-car garage.
With a one-car garage.
He had the car in the garage, then he had one car in the driveway behind it, and then he had 2 parking spaces on the street. And he always had those. And then he had anybody in the neighborhood he knew that had an extra spot.
Mm.
So he'd always have inventory spread around the neighborhood. Like one would be like 5 doors down, one would be around the block.
Well, I used to have to park around the corner.
Yeah.
Because there were no parking spaces, so whenever I came home, I would park the car around the corner and walk all the way up from Abington.
Yeah.
It was a long walk.
Yeah, he kept his inventory spread throughout the neighborhood.
Yeah. Parking is tight. All right, you have a.
But this was a guy. I know we're talking about the 1980s,
Yeah.
right? 1970s, 1980s, and this was a guy who walked around with 10 grand in his pocket at all times. Like, yeah, a chunk of $100 bills that was just like that's the kind of wheeling and dealing that he was doing.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that kind of wheeling and dealing really exists anymore.
No, that kind of hustle only really came from that place, that period of time.
Yeah.
The Goodfellas
And it's hard
era.
to explain to people. You know.
The Goodfellas era.
I worked at a parts store when Slick 50 came out and it sold like hotcakes.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm old enough to remember when everything came out.
Hotcakes, yes. Hotcakes.
Hotcakes.
Jensen speakers. I don't know, I guess that's from the 80s.
Yeah, 70s.
Yeah, 70s.
Craig.
What is, I don't know.
Yeah, Craig was another one.
Same here, they're talking to each other. So we're about done, Tony. We're there.
Are we about done?
Yeah, we are there.
Man, I talked a lot tonight, didn't I?
We did talk a lot.
Holy shit. Oh, I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening this week? Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the ignition video I had set up to do the other day. So we're gonna get that done.
Thank you, Fubar. He put up a link to our merch.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Fubar, as always, brother man. What was I gonna say now?
What's coming up?
What's coming up? So
Thank you,
ignition. Dr. Art is gonna put a tune on my bugle. So we'll probably do something with that.
Okay. Sarah says Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Yes, happy Father's Day to everybody. What else is there? And of course, Wednesday Night Tech Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Erie Eric.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do a live with Erie Eric one night this week, probably Thursday. I'm not sure yet. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, but we're gonna do a live. And so Eric is super into 60s hot rod culture, right? 50s, 60s, and into the 70s hot rod culture. He loves all this over-the-top stuff. He's got his own bubble top car. Oh, he's deep into this. So we're gonna do a live. We're gonna talk about TV cars, famous TV custom cars. He knows the history and the nuts and the bolts and all this other stuff.
Oh no, Chris Randolph just got here. Next 24-hour live? No.
Oh, no,
We're wrapping
no.
up, Curtis. You have to watch the replay.
So.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, so it may not be everybody's cup of tea. Maybe it's a little bit off the beaten path from the kind of stuff we usually do, but I find it interesting. So we're gonna do a live with him about this the famous 1960s TV custom hot rod and custom cars, and I think that's about it, right? That I can think of.
That's it. I don't know if Barry's still here.
I was
Charlie
gonna.
Roma says Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Charlie. Same to you. I was gonna take Sledgehammer out Friday.
Yeah, it was too, there's no oxygen. I couldn't breathe.
There was-
I wasn't leaving the house. So he
I was like, the hell with this, right? And this coming week, it's gonna be in the 90s all the way through. You know what?
No.
No.
Okay.
just no.
So we live in a valley, and sometimes we get air alerts, and like we've had bad air conditions, so
Yeah.
we've gotten alerts because it'll all settle in here and it won't like blow out. So we have sometimes it's very hard to breathe. And
Yeah.
that was the other day, and I couldn't really go outside.
But, this is important now. So Jamie and I have been discussing a rematch, which is kind of difficult because Jamie is 2,700 miles away.
Corey Melvin sent you a super chat. Thanks,
Thank
Tony,
you.
Kathy. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Corey.
So he's 2,700 miles away. So I'm not driving out there. He ain't coming back here. But we actually have figured out a way that we can have an accurate rematch, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to talk about it on his channel,
Okay.
right? So watch for Dead Dodge Garage because I'm going to let him work out the fine details, and I'm just going to agree to whatever he comes up with from this point. So there will be a rematch: Slaghammer versus Dale's Demon, and but obviously we can't be at the same time at the same place. So he's going to work out those details. So we'll talk about it on his channel, and I think that's it, right? I think that's it. All right. So our awesome mods, the return of Ari.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I know.
And then there's Fubar and Zero and Mexican Spec. We're always with us, guys. Thank you so much
Thank
as
you.
always, keeping things moving along and clean. Everybody contributes super chat. Thank you so much. It's never accepted.
It's never
Like,
appreciated.
It's never. Oh, see, I'm tired. I'm tired.
Don't listen to
It's
Tony.
never expected, but it's always
Always
appreciated.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody contributed just with your presence and your conversation. Thank you equally. We're eternally grateful for you guys. You allow us to do this for a living, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
Zero yes, yes.
Try to leave a like on the way out because that
Uh-huh.
keeps YouTube happy, right? I hate asking for that, but
Well, we never asked for it.
I never
It does
ask for it,
help.
but
It does help.
it does make a big difference
Yeah.
as far as YouTube is concerned. Me, I don't care. Actually, you could dislike it too. It doesn't make any difference
There's
if you like
many
it.
different.
It doesn't. Okay, so here's the thing about YouTube. They don't care if you like or dislike. It doesn't
Really?
make any difference as long as you watch.
As long as you
So go
want.
ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's fine.
As long as you commented,
Right.
whatever you say doesn't matter.
Yeah, comments too. Right. Just go blah 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 blah. YouTube
They
counts
love
that as
comments.
interaction, and they're like, this guy gets interactions, and that's how you get views.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? I thanked everybody. I thanked our mods. I thanked our audience. I Kathy Bananas.
I think that's it.
We have to
Did
thank.
you thank me?
I'm thanking you right now, Kathy
You never
Bananas.
thanked me.
I'm thanking
Did
you
you get
now.
a brochure for like for me to go through to pick my car?
I'm not building any more cars.
Wait, but Auntie's doing it
That's great.
for
Andy's
his
gonna,
wife,
I'm gonna help him, but I'm not building any more cars.
but
No, I'm not building any more cars.
but
Take the money that comes from the duster and go buy the car you want.
I'm just teasing you. All right. It's so funny, Tony.
You gotta do it before I go buy another motorcycle.
You were gonna buy another motorcycle, aren't you?
Stop me from buying another motorcycle.
I'll
Take the
just
cash and go buy
something.
it. Right.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
everybody.
Thank you all. Make this thing stop.
Happy
now.
Father's Day to
Yes, and
everyone.
happy Father's Day, everybody.
Good night.
Make it stop.
Stopping.
Stop it now.